What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. So, the Lions versus Sharks game has just finished, and it was a big game. There were a lot of impressive things to talk about, but the first thing to mention before the game even kicked off, about an hour or so before the game happened, we actually found out that there'd been COVID issues in the team. So, there was a bit of a team change around before we even got into the game. Ali Price took over from Gareth Davis, Owen Farrell took over from Dan Bigger, Zammit came in for Watson, and Josh Adams filling in for Liam Williams. So that's starting 15, changing a lot in the backs. The forwards all stayed the same. And then we also had Itoje came in for Tyke Byrne. Russell came in for Murray, and Faletau came in for Harris, and Hamish Watson came in for Hogg in the reserves. So the subs bench ended up being a 7-1 split between forwards and backs, which was already going to be absolute chaos to try and work with, and the whole team having to try and rejiggle around and see how it ended up. But without that, it actually ended up being a really interesting game to watch. It was quite fun to see a Lions team that really shouldn't work well together. It might have been the most impressive one. I was really surprised by how they worked out. The whole team really gelled together fantastically well, and the wings just absolutely flew together. So as we do for all these videos as we've done in the past, we'll check the game events up here for you guys so you can have a little look through, and there's going to be quite a little bit to talk through, so we'll get kicked off. So the first half got off underway. It was quite an aggressive start from the Lions. We got to see they're trying to lay down the stamp like they did in the first game, or sorry, against their first sort of South African team game they had. They tried to do the same thing. Within the second minute, they got a penalty for offside, and they decided to kick to the corner rather than the post. So already, they're not looking for the 3 points. They were looking for those tries. It was nice to see Owen Farrell taking over those kicking duties at 10, because obviously no bigger in the team. And it was only a minute later that we got to see the first try of the game. Josh Adams just having a fantastic tournament so far, getting the first try of the match. The line-out maul going in there, of course, trying to drive forwards. The Sharks pushed really well against it. The ball played out from the side, going to Owen Farrell, took the tackle, popped the ball off around the side, Zammit with a nice little offload, and Josh Adams over the try line. So try one, only 3 minutes to get there, and Owen Farrell with a successful conversion kick. So nice to know that Farrell's also going to be there for the post-kicking duties if they need him. 4 minutes later, it was over to the other wing to score the first try. Duan van der Merwe getting his try. So both him and Josh Adams are having a fantastic tournament just for trying to get tries on the board. Big piece of beautiful passing play coming from the Lions, getting over the gain line at every single opportunity they had with the ball in hand. Passed to Duan van der Merwe and just pretty much walked it over the line. No real effort for him. And Owen Farrell managing to get a successful kick there as well. In the sort of 16th minute, we had a superb defensive set from the Lions. In all honesty, a lot of this is going to be quite Lions braggy, it feels like. The Lions had to get stuck on their own try line. The Sharks doing fantastic work to get all the way to the Lions try line, but the defensive work was absolutely brilliant. Really held up every single attempt. There was a couple of penalties conceded here and there, nothing warranting yellow cards, but just enough to keep the Sharks at bay until a fantastic turnover in the maul that collapsed. There was Tom Curry getting over the ball, as we know Tom Curry likes to do. Rips the ball out, not wanting to give away. The Sharks released it, and Ali Price clears the ball. Nothing conceded for a good 3 or 4 minutes of solid defensive work. Absolutely brilliant. 4 minutes later, the Lions making a great breakthrough. Elliot Daly on the ball, running a good 50 metres up the pitch. It looked like, for all intents and purposes, he could have got a try himself there. And then Koch, who comes in with the yellow card tackle, or not so much the tackle, in fact, he made a really good tackle, actually, chasing down Elliot Daly, an ex-Sevens player who's a really good player for the Sharks, got the tackle on Elliot Daly, managed to stop him there. Support came in to pick up the ball, and Koch decided just to jump over the player and just hold the ball in place. Massively cynical, and unfortunately a yellow card. So that was going to open the floodgates a little bit for them, unfortunately. Only a minute later, they almost got punished for that immediately. Cowan Dickey got a try disallowed. There was a driving maul from that yellow card scenario, from the kick to the corner. Driving maul, Cowan Dickey getting over the try line, but just didn't have the ball under control. Knock on given away. They thought it was all over there, but 5 minutes later, of course, who comes in? Duan van der Merwe again, absolutely superb, picking the ball up from the scrum that went wrong. The grubber kick came from Farrell all the way through. Great weight on the ball. There was no fullback, and obviously the yellow carded winger not there to cover the fullback position. Kicked it through. Duan van der Merwe, brilliant little bit of play to keep the ball going, and a fantastic try. And this was actually a conversion miss from Farrell, and that is actually the first miss on tour, which is pretty good. You know, 3 games in, they've only had 1 miss. They must be on like a 96% conversion rate or something, doing really well. The game wasn't over though. This was only in the 26th minute. So the 30th minute, we had another piece of brilliant defensive set coming in from there. Again, the Sharks doing this sort of wave attack. Just they sort of simmered down for about 20 minutes at a time, but then they just came full fury, getting back on it, having a fantastic piece of aggression, getting straight onto that 5 metre line again, trying to get that ball over. But the tackle rate coming in from the Lions was absolutely brilliant. They were dominant tackles. Almost every tackle was a dominant tackle, knocking them back, regaining the meters, and then eventually there was a lovely little ball kicked out from the side. Ali Price picked it up and kicked it a good 70 metres downfield, clearing the line again. So again, no points conceded there. And they hadn't had enough yet. 39 minutes in, Bundy Aki gets his, was that his first try for the Lions? He's done very well, really, in this Lions tour, actually. It was a big surprise to see him on the tour. So nice to see him doing so well. The 5 metre maul got stopped by the Sharks. They managed to deal with that maul. Great peel off, though, from Cowan Dickey, and the little pop pass off gives it to Aki for the try. Another successful conversion. So at half-time, 26-0. And in all honesty, as you can see from the board, it's all Lions. It's all Lions going in at that half-time mark. The second half kicked off a little bit quieter. The first 10 minutes was sort of teams taking advantage over each other, some possession of the ball, kicking away. It sort of simmered down a bit. They both wanted to find their footing, but it was the Sharks who got the first kick in the game there. So James Venter getting his own try in there. So nice. So at least the Sharks didn't finish on 0 points. They did manage to get a try in there, which is probably what they definitely want to have achieved in that game. There was superb play from the Sharks. They really managed to hold that attack line well. It was probably the best play of the game. The offloading passes coming through, multiple backs playing well together, getting it out to the winger, cuts back inside, lovely little offload, and James Venter going over for the try. And it was a successful conversion from Bosch, their fly half. Around the 55-minute mark, we had some subs coming on. Finn Russell coming on for Farrell, so of course only one back in the subs department, so it was going to be difficult to know where he's going to fit. Warren Gatland did say before the game he's just going to have to go wherever he's going. Did come on for Farrell, so in his preferred position, so he's probably quite happy with that. But well played by the backs, to be fair. They managed to stay on for the full 80 minutes, so fair play to them. 2 minutes later, after all the subs coming in, Josh Adams gets his try there. The Lions on a fantastic bit of attack. The Sharks managed to turn the ball over completely against the runner play. Thought it was going to switch over to the Sharks. The Lions all over the place defensively. Didn't look good. They tried to get the ball out quick. It gets fumbled and dropped. Fell in between two of the Sharks players. Josh Adams coming in with the great knowledge that he has of the game, like we see in the winger, kicking the ball on, grab a kick through for himself, and a fantastic collection for a try. Finn Russell getting the conversion for that one. Only 4 minutes later, we got the next try of the game. Zammit having a fantastic try again. Good defensive set from the Lions this whole game. The Lions were doing so well defensively. The Sharks couldn't find a way through, so they decided to try and grab a kick the ball through. Kicked it through straight into the hands of Josh Adams. A good tackle, I believe it's from Koch, actually managed to get the tackle on Josh Adams, stopping him there. But the offload came and Zammit, and we've seen it in the Wales team so much. When Zammit gets that ball in open space, no one's going to stop him. It was a good 60-metre run in for him. Nice and easy. No one anywhere near him, in all honesty. So, nice easy try for Zammit, and Russell getting the kick for that one as well. From about the 63rd to the 70th minute, there was another huge defensive set. Warren Gatland will be so happy with the outcome of this game, how defensively sound this team was, considering they weren't expecting to play together. COVID ruling players out. They weren't ready for this game, and it was absolutely superb. I was absolutely applauding it as it was going on. Huge defensive set. There were 3 penalties conceded during it. Nothing worthy of yellow card. We don't know how that might translate to a South Africa game. Maybe referees might look more towards yellow cards in that situation. But fantastic by them. Dominant tackles again all over the field. So many players smashing 2-on-1 tackles, knocking them back, gaining that room. There was a lovely little turnover that came through and cleared by Zammit. So again, still no points conceded conceded there. And only 3 minutes later from that, we had the potential for another try. This one coming from Navidi. It's not on the board because it did get disallowed. The turnover that came previously was a lovely little run actually from a Toje, knocking the ball out of the hands of the player on the ground as he tried to go for an offload. However, Aki was in an offside position when he got it. Ball comes to Navidi, ran a good sort of 30-40 metres, getting himself a try, but unfortunately disallowed for him. And into that final 5 minutes or so, the Lions didn't have enough. We had another try from Duan van der Merwe, so for him, got his hat-trick in this game. A great counter-ruck from Rory Sutherland, who was quite quiet for a lot of the game, but the turnover for him was absolutely fantastic. Smashing his way into that ruck, knocking the players out. The ball rolls out to the side. Lovely little pickup, gets it to Elliot Daly, who did a fantastic little offload, and Duan de Merve easy running down that left wing again. The wings for Sharks really struggled in this game to try and know how to deal with some of the Lions wingers. Another successful conversion by Russell, and to just finish the game off because they hadn't had enough yet, Josh Adams decided he wanted another try, making it 8 out of the last 3 games from the Lions. He's having a fantastic tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Josh Adams starting in those South Africa games. Josh Adams having to move to fullback as well for this game, just doing everything fantastically. A brilliant passing manoeuvre. Hamish Watson took over at number 9 out of nowhere, became the scrum half. The ball spreading out wide, and it went from wing to wing, from Zamet's wing all the way across to Josh Adams, and just ran it over for another try and a successful conversion there. So at full time, 54-7 to the Lions, and in all honesty, it's all positive to talk about from the Lions. A couple of issues really only coming from handling errors, you could say. The scrummaging was a real fierce battle, but the Sharks had a very solid scrum. As soon as the swaps begin to come on, as soon as Mako Vunipola seemed to be the bit of the weak link in that scrum, as soon as he came off and Roy Sutherland came on, the scrums were sorted out completely, and even Vunipola managed to sort it out himself towards the end of it before he came off. So the scrummaging looking good. We know how big South Africa are on the mauls and the scrums, what they're going to want to do. I think they're looking very, very good. One thing that I would probably say is the Lions are not getting tries specifically from those 5-metre rolling mauls, which is a real shame. They're getting the position correct, they're just not converting them into tries. That is something they'll want to try and do before that South Africa team comes in, and that way they can try and sneak some tries in there. Duan van der Merwe got man of the match. I think maybe perfectly valid. For me, again, I would maybe have gone with Josh Adams, again, playing a position he wasn't used to, getting himself, what was it, two or three tries now on my piece of paper. I think he had a fantastic game. I think Josh Adams could have got it. And I think Navidi had a brilliant game, just all over the park, making his debut, almost getting himself a try. The tackle rate, the dominant tackles for himself, really good. Tom Curry was also very good, as was Cowan Dickey. So a lot of positives to talk about from the Lions. I'm really looking forward to see where they go. Saturday's game has been cancelled against the Bulls, which is unfortunate, so we'll see what happens there. There's talk about they may replace that game with playing Georgia, or they might just move the Bulls to a later date. But what did you guys think? Make sure you drop it down in the comments. I always like reading through the comments what people thought of the game, who they think played well, who they thought played badly. What are you looking forward to see from this Lions team as we get close towards that South Africa team? I will be doing some more videos coming out, especially with this Lions team, so make sure you subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all the latest videos as they come out. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.